The team gathered, excited and anxious. Last-minute checks, gear loaded, laughter filled the air. A calm before the storm, a shared anticipation of the unknown. We were about to embark on a journey into the heart of darkness, a place whispered to be the most haunted on Earth. This wasn't just another investigation for us. This was personal. We'd heard the stories, the chilling accounts of unexplained phenomena, the desperate pleas of those who'd barely escaped. This place, known only as Shadow's Gate, had haunted our dreams for months. We were prepared for anything. EMF readers, EVP recorders, thermal cameras, we had it all. More importantly, we had each other, a bond forged in countless haunted locations, a trust that ran deeper than blood. We were a team, a family, ready to face whatever awaited us on the other side of fear. The journey was long, the road winding through dense ancient forests. The sun began to set, casting long, eerie shadows across our path. A palpable tension settled in the vehicle, the weight of the unknown pressing down on us. We finally arrived at the foot of a desolate hill. The air grew heavy, the silence deafening, broken only by the rustling of leaves. Atop the hill stood the ruins of an old asylum, its silhouette a jagged scar against the dying light. Shadow's Gate. The building loomed before us, a monolith of decay and despair. Windows like vacant eyes stared back at us. A shiver ran down my spine, a primal instinct warning me of the darkness that lay within. We had crossed the threshold into the unknown. Stepping inside, we were greeted by an oppressive silence, broken only by the sound of our own breathing. The air was thick with the smell of decay and something else, something ancient and unsettling. Dust-covered furniture lay scattered, remnants of lives shattered within these walls. We began setting up our equipment, our movements punctuated by the click of tripods and the whirring of cameras. The silence was unnerving, a suffocating blanket that seemed to absorb all sound. It felt as though the building itself was watching us, waiting for us to make a mistake. As darkness fell, the temperature dropped, a bone-chilling cold that seeped into our bones. The silence deepened, becoming almost tangible. It was then that we heard it, a faint scratching sound, like fingernails on a chalkboard, echoing from the depths of the building. The scratching grew louder, more insistent. We exchanged nervous glances, our senses on high alert. Then, a blood-curdling scream pierced the silence, echoing through the empty halls. It was a raw, primal sound of pure terror. Our hearts pounded in our chests as we rushed towards the source of the scream. The air grew colder, and the smell of decay intensified. We could feel a presence, dark and malevolent, closing in around us. As we rounded a corner, the screaming stopped abruptly. Silence descended once more, heavier this time, filled with an unspoken threat. We were no longer alone. Something was here with us, in the shadows, watching our every move. Section 5. Gateway to the Unknown. The EMF reader spiked, the numbers climbing off the charts. A cold wind whipped through the hallway, extinguishing our lights and plunging us into darkness. When the wind died down, we saw it. A swirling vortex of energy, shimmering at the end of the hall. The portal pulsed with an eerie green light, beckoning us closer. We could feel its power, ancient and raw, emanating outwards. It was a tear in the fabric of reality, a gateway to somewhere else. Fear warred with curiosity. We had never encountered anything like this before. Was this the source of the paranormal activity? Could this be the gateway to another realm, a place where the dead walked among the living? Section 6. Trapped in Nightmare. Our cameraman, drawn by an unseen force, stepped towards the portal. Before we could stop him, he was sucked into the swirling vortex, his screams echoing through the building one last time. The portal vanished as quickly as it had appeared, leaving behind a chilling silence. Panic surged through us. We were trapped in this nightmare, our link to the outside world severed. The temperature plummeted, and the air grew thick with a suffocating dread. We were no longer investigating the paranormal, we were living it. The shadows seemed to come alive, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes. Whispers swirled around us, taunting us with our deepest fears. We were lost in a labyrinth of terror with no escape in sight. Section 7. The Price of Curiosity. We pressed on, desperate to find a way out of this nightmare. Each step was a battle against the unseen forces that surrounded us. The building seemed to twist and turn upon itself, a labyrinth designed to break our spirits. We encountered manifestations we couldn't explain, objects moving on their own, disembodied voices whispering our names, cold spectral figures that vanished into thin air. Each encounter chipped away at our sanity, pushing us closer to the brink. The weight of our cameraman's disappearance pressed down on us. We had come to this place seeking answers, but all we had found was terror and despair. We had paid the price of curiosity, and now we were trapped in a nightmare with no end in sight. Section 8. Fight for survival. As the night wore on, our hope began to dwindle. We were exhausted, both physically and mentally. The constant fear and paranoia were taking their toll, but we couldn't give up. We had to keep fighting for survival. We used our remaining strength to barricade ourselves in one of the rooms, hoping to find a moment's respite from the horrors that surrounded us. But the darkness offered no sanctuary. The whispers continued, the shadows danced, and the fear gnawed at our insides. We knew that if we didn't escape soon, we would be lost forever in this haunted abyss. Our resolve hardened, fueled by a primal instinct to survive. We would not become another tragic chapter in the history of Shadows Gate. Section 9. No turning back. Just when our hope dwindled to a flicker, we discovered a hidden passage behind a crumbling wall. It was a desperate gamble, but we had nothing left to lose. With renewed determination, we pushed forward into the unknown. The passage was narrow and treacherous, but we pressed on, our bodies screaming in protest. The air grew colder and the stench of decay intensified. We were deep within the belly of the beast, and we could feel its malevolent presence all around us. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, we emerged into the cool night air. The first rays of dawn were breaking over the horizon, casting a golden glow over the desolate landscape. We had escaped the clutches of Shadows Gate, forever marked by our encounter with the darkness. There would be time for reflection later, time to process the horrors we had witnessed. But for now, we were content to breathe in the fresh air of freedom, grateful to have survived the night of terror. We had looked into the abyss, and the abyss had looked back, and we knew that we would never be the same.